Jeffrey Epstein case came and went. There are files, there are no files, there are names, there are no names, there's a client list, there isn't a client list, Prince Andrew's name, Prince Andrew's not named.
I don't believe it's real for a second. In fact, I'm sure it's not. There's never been an original. And further, there's no photograph, and I've only ever seen a photocopy of it. I don't believe it happened.
January 2026.
Meghan Markle's launching her Netflix cooking show, posting about fresh beginnings and California sunshine. Everything looks perfect for the Duchess of Sussex, but here's what nobody's talking about. Word spreading through channels says documents from Ghislaine Maxwell's prison time just came out. Not just any documents, a diary. Pages allegedly detailing names, visits, connections that powerful people spent decades keeping buried. And sources claim one name appears over and over in these pages: Meghan Markle. 12 separate visits to Jeffrey Epstein's private island, according to what people are saying this diary contains. 12 times between her Hollywood years and meeting Harry, and the kicker: alleged photos. Images that sources say show exactly what Meghan was doing in those elite circles before she became a duchess. Now I gotta be clear, these claims are unverified. We're talking about reports going around, not confirmed facts. But the timing, the silence from Meghan's team, the way this connects to everything we've wondered about her past, that's what makes this impossible to ignore. So, buckle up tight, because what's allegedly in these pages could destroy everything Meghan built her image on. Let me tell you what sources are saying about these alleged diary entries. Back in November 2025, Maxwell's prison emails got leaked. That's documented. That's real. Prison guards actually got fired over it. But word now spreading says there's more than just emails. Sources claim Maxwell...
Because Prince Harry's dog wife caused the biggest problem in that royal family. By the way, a family which also has a Jeffrey Epstein problem. Did horrible things with Jeffrey Epstein, and Meghan Markle was like, hold my beer. I can do something worse to this family. And she did. She did.
Why would Maxwell document any of this? Here's what makes sense. She's facing 20 years in prison. She met with Trump's Deputy Attorney General in summer 2025. Prison records show she's preparing appeals, working on legal strategies. And the oldest currency in the justice system is information. You trade what you know for what you want. So if Maxwell's got records proving which powerful people were involved in Epstein's network, that's leverage. That's her ticket to better conditions, maybe even early release. And according to what sources are saying, Meghan Markle's name appears in these records. Not once, not twice. 12 documented visits to Little St. James Island allegedly recorded in Maxwell's notes. 12 times Meghan supposedly flew to that private Caribbean island where no horrible things happened.
If she's, as you say, a victim of a miscarriage of justice, then there would be no obvious reason why she would not want to cooperate with the authorities. I mean, particularly the chance to address Congress, for example, where the whole world would watch. And if she is as innocent as you say, then isn't that the perfect opportunity?
Now, I'm being careful with my words here because these diary claims haven't been independently verified. No mainstream media has published the actual pages. But the fact that this information is going around among people connected to the Epstein investigation, that's not random gossip. That's specific claims from sources who allegedly have access to Maxwell's documentation. Here's where this gets really interesting. Sources claiming knowledge of the diary say the visits span from around 2001 to 2013. That's Meghan's struggling actress years. The time when she's supposedly hustling in LA, doing deal or no deal, trying to land any role she can get. Not exactly the lifestyle where you're casually flying to private Caribbean islands 12 separate times, unless someone very wealthy and powerful is helping those trips happen. Think about the logistics. Private island, you can't just show up. You need to be invited, flown there on private jets. Welcomed into circles where billionaires and princes gather. So how does a cable TV act?
You're a trained lawyer. You know this, that they kept that prosecution so tight tightly focused on her and the sexual crimes. It was deeply frustrating to sit there and sort of see names of famous, wealthy people.
The timeline allegedly documented matches up with when Epstein and Maxwell were most active before Epstein's 2008 conviction, when the island was functioning exactly as prosecutors later described, as a location where young women were brought to entertain powerful men, where abuse happened behind walls of wealth and secrecy. And according to sources familiar with what the diary supposedly contains, Meghan wasn't visiting as a victim. The context allegedly suggests she was there as someone connected to the operation, someone who understood what was happening and participated in the social dynamics that made it all work. A facilitator, maybe? Someone who helped keep up the illusion that everything was just wealthy people having fun? You understand what I'm saying? If even part of this is accurate, it's not a story about Meghan being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's about her allegedly being a knowing participant in networks we now know were deeply corrupt. Now, let's talk about these alleged photos, because this is what could make or break these claims. Documents are one thing. Photos are evidence that can't be explained away. And word going around says Maxwell's records include images, actual photographs allegedly showing Meghan on the island, at yacht parties, in situations that would be impossible to spin as innocent networking. We know photos from Epstein's world exist. Court cases released some victims described cameras everywhere on the island. Epstein allegedly used surveillance and documentation as leverage against powerful people. So the idea that photos exist showing various guests isn't fact. That's established fact from what came out in trials. But photos specifically of Meghan, sources claim they're part of what Maxwell documented images allegedly showing her at island gatherings. On yachts with Epstein, Maxwell, and other high-profile people,
earned them some
in
kind
settings
of
that would raise
affection.
questions
so
about
whatever
what
the event was in a child's life, they will very likely continue the behavior that got them power, love, affection, significance into adulthood without even knowing it. What we're seeing here is coming into power by being offended and taking control by making it public and loud.
Now, here's the interesting part about photos. In 2022, claims went around about yacht pictures allegedly showing Meghan at a party in Phuket, Thailand in 2001 with Prince Andrew, Epstein, and Maxwell. Those photos were disputed. Supporters said the woman in the images could be anyone. Face wasn't clear enough to verify. And Meghan's team never addressed them directly, which is smart legal strategy. If photos are unclear. But what if Maxwell's alleged documentation includes clearer images? Photos where identification isn't questionable. That changes everything. You can't dispute photographic evidence when faces and contexts are undeniable. Here's what drives me absolutely crazy about this situation. Meghan Markle has sued media outlets for way less than accusations of being connected to Jeffrey Epstein's network. She took legal action over a letter to her father. She's fought
She went to the high school where the girls might not have money to buy the clothes that they wanted to wear. She went to the high school where those girls might not have even the money to pay for their school lunches. Yeah. And she told them, I have a rich friend who would give you money.
But these Epstein allegations? Complete silence. Not one lawsuit claiming defamation. Not one cease and desist letter to sources spreading these claims. Not one public denial through her representatives. Just radio silence while rumors spread across the internet about her allegedly visiting the island 12 times. I'll tell you exactly why. Fighting these claims means discovery. Means depositions. Under oath. Means prosecutors and lawyers getting access to travel records, flight logs, documentation from those years. And if any of that evidence proves she really was on that island even once. Lying about it in legal proceedings is a crime perjury. So
as one of the massage therapists, and Epstein recruited her, or rather, I think it was Glenn Maxwell, recruited her to come and be Jeffrey Epstein's personal masseuse. That's what led to a lot of the abuse that happened when she was working for Epstein.
Think about Virginia Giuffre's lawyer, David Boies. Back in 2021, He publicly said he wanted to question Meghan as a witness in the Prince Andrew case. That's documented fact. He specifically said Meghan was a close associate of Prince Andrew who might have knowledge about what Andrew did. That's a lawyer with access to Epstein documentation saying Meghan has relevant knowledge, not speculation. A legal professional building a case. And Meghan never fought that either. Never demanded he take it back. Never sued boys for implying she had knowledge of Andrew's activities. Just let it slide.
Let's make sure we understand that Ghislaine Maxwell is a pedophile.
So they have known what role Ghislaine Maxwell played since 1996 when I told them.
This way. Epstein was Pinocchio and she was Geppetto. She was the guy controlling
the strings.
Jeffrey. Yep, she was pulling the string.
Now, let me connect some dots about how Meghan allegedly entered these circles, because this is where everything fits together too perfectly. Kirby Summers, who wrote an unauthorized biography of Ghislaine Maxwell, claimed back in 2022 that Meghan may have met Prince Andrew through Maxwell and Epstein years before meeting Harry. Not random speculation or researcher who spent time Maxwell's network making specific claims about Meghan's connections. Summers pointed to Marcus Anderson as a possible connector. Anderson is the Soho House Global Membership Director who introduced Meghan to Harry. That's established fact. But Summers suggested Anderson's connections went deeper, that he moved in circles overlapping with Epstein's network as far back as 2001, which would explain how a struggling
Marcus Anderson. Marcus Anderson is very unique in the Meghan Markle Disposable Friends series because Marcus is indispensable. Without Marcus Anderson, I hope to prove to you in this video that Meghan Markle wouldn't have the level of global fame that she enjoys now.
You think about how Soho House works? It's designed as a networking machine for ambitious people wanting access to wealth and power. Private clubs where deals happen, connections form away from public eyes. Anderson's job is helping those connections happen, making introductions, opening doors for people he thinks can benefit from elite access. So if Anderson was connected to networks that included Epstein and Maxwell, and he brought Meghan into those circles during her Hollywood years, that explains 12 island visits. That explains photos at yacht parties. That explains how she went from nobody actress to dating a prince within a few years.
This is a very interesting observation. The man in the plaid behind Meghan Markle appears to be Marcus Anderson. Who is Marcus Anderson and why is he always around Meghan and Harry? Well, if we compare jawlines, the jawline to the man in the previous picture and the jawline here.
And Maxwell would have recognized that in Meghan immediately. Maxwell's expertise was identifying ambitious women who understood how to work wealthy men. Women willing to do what it takes to access power. If Maxwell kept records of people in that category, Meghan's name being in those records makes perfect sense. Based on the behavioral patterns, we can verify. Let's talk about the implications if any of this gets proven. Meghan married into the British royal family. She became the Duchess of Sussex. She had access to the Queen, 2 state secrets.